Right. Welcome to the series of the certification part as we are discussing about various certifications in context to the Azure environment. Today, I'm going to discuss about one of the certification program, especially on Microsoft Azure, is about RPA Developer Associate. So before I'm getting into the details about the certification relating to RPA development, let me give you an understanding over what exactly RPA developer do, right? So at the same time, in what way the certifications are being used. In the larger context, if you see, when we are working on application development, as far as the role of a developers are concerned, now and then we are using different RPA tools. RPA stands for robotic process automation. Wherein using robotic process automation, like different tools like AI Path, Blue Prism, Automation Anywhere, OpenSpan, right? So using different tools, what is that are we doing is to create different automation processes, because if there is any kind of regular activity are we performing. So when we are implementing a regular process in the existing environment, it's always important for us to add some automated process, so that using some orchestrator, etc., right? So that we can record the regular activity. So when and wherever it is needed, so that can be used accordingly. This is what generally a robotic process automation is concerned. In this regard, the role of an RPA developer is to automate the kind of workflows, because when there is any kind of business activity or the business process we are performing, it's always important for us to automate the workflow process, so that streamlining the workflow process leads to better implementation of a particular activity what we are performing. In that regard, when we want to automate any kind of workflows using Microsoft Power Automate, because as we all know, like Microsoft Power Automate is the one which is widely used in the RPA development, especially on Microsoft Azure platform. So this is majorly useful to automate whatever the required workflows you wants to be updated. In this regard, so whoever wants to be an RPA developer in the Azure platform, as in when we are handling multiple coaching as well as trainings on that regard, a person wants to go for a certified Microsoft certification, especially using Power Automate in the Microsoft Azure platform, is being a RPA developer. So how to automate and as well as improve the workflows is what something you will be learning in this. Normally, this is an, as I am mentioning here, this is a level, intermediate level, I can say, because normally we can classify this into three different parts to make it very simple. One is about the beginner level, second is intermediate level, and advanced level, right? So we can categorize it into three different parts. So this is an intermediate level certification program, which normally useful to the people who are working or who are looking for developer roles, kind of RPA developer roles and all that. And as far as the renewal is concerned, because this is a certification program which can be renewed in every 12 months, means I mean to say year and all that. Now, when it comes to the overview of this certification program, this is a certification program majorly trying to understand about the different approaches. So one is about the UI approach, wherein you can see over here. So I can say UI is nothing but user interface approaches. What are the user interfaces are we going to create? At the same time, APIs, because building API to communicate between two different applications is one of the key and important element which has to be identified. So that even part of automation approaches will be using. At the same time, one more is about the database part, right? So creating and the managing the databases is always important for any application development we are performing. So these are the three mix of automation approaches. Normally, an individual who are acquiring knowledge from the developer perspective as an RPA developer is what something you have to be good with. At the same time, being into an RPA developer, it's always important for us to analyze and design, followed by implementing automations using this Power Automate desktop flow. Of course, because Azure is a cloud environment, even we can implement the cloud flows also. So that there are different actions and logics which can be implemented. So which normally uses for the data what we are using, the kind of applications you are managing, followed by the kind of services, whatever we are implementing, all that. So these are the major things which whenever we are working on RPA developer, especially using Power Automate, is what something normally we do. In addition to that, whenever you are working on RPA developer using Power Automate in Microsoft Azure platform, it's always important for us to understand about the environment, because the one environment, a Windows desktop environment, which is an operating system known to anyone in regular intervals, right? So that is one thing. At the same time, there are different scripting languages like PB scripting and Java scripting and all, as in when you know, right? So we normally use multiple scriptings like JavaScripts and all, everything will be of useful to. At the same time, .NET framework, understanding over the .NET framework followed by Microsoft Dataverse. These are the major things which normally we will be using, right? So when we want to have an experience as a RP developer, this is what something which normally we have to be good with. Now, in context to the skills are concerned, right? So when we wants to get certified, what are the different skills which are required? So one skill is about should have an experience in designing automations, because using Power Automate, how to design the automations as far as the workflows is concerned is what something a skill with one must be good with. At the same time, we should able in a position to develop automations, because different automation processes as well as the workflows. The development should also be done by has to be performed by the RPA developer. That is also one of the key and important element which we have to be managed with. At the same time, we should able in a position to deploy and manage the automations. This is also one of the key and important element which we have to be known with, right? So how to deploy and how to manage the automations is also one of the key and important element we need to be focused more on. So these are the different skills and measures. These are the different skills which are to be measured in context to the designing of automation and developing automation and all. These are the skills which we have to be measured, right? So these are the major areas being into RPA development. Once, if you want to get certified, these are the skills followed by the kind of logics we need to work with. At the same time, these are the skills which normally we were going to learn, right? So this is all something will be useful. Now, when it comes to the RPA developer in Power Automate, especially whenever we are applying for examination and all. So these are the areas where we have to be understand with, right? So these are the areas you can see. This is what generally the content one should be knowing, right? So these are all different content we must be knowing. First step, you will be learning about what are the steps to be taken to work under Power Automate for any kind of desktop and all, right? So that is what something you will be learning in the beginning, because as far as the training is concerned, I'm talking about. Subsequently, certification can be applied for. That is one thing. Power Automate for desktop is the first thing. At the same time, what are the development essentials required for the desktop whenever we are working on Power Automate is also the second module wherein to be added with. Because what kind of questions we come across while we are applying for exam or when we are writing the exam, these are the areas where the modules you have to be focused. One is about Power Automate step for desktop. What are the steps to be involved, right? So those kind of questions you come across. At the same time, Power Automate for Desktop Development Essentials is also one of the module wherein you must be good with. Next, we need to have an experience in building first Power Automate for desktop flows. This is also one of the module wherein you will be including in this, followed by the kind of uh, input and as well as output parameters for Power Automate, wherein to define it. So these are all the modules which normally most of the questions we come across when we are attending the examination. Apart from that, there are other modules we have, wherein if you want to integrate any kind of desktop workflows, or if you want to clear any kind of Outlook connectors to in the Power Automate for the desktop, right? So wherein if you want to integrate any kind of desktop workflows, even this also will be included in this regard. So these are the major modules wherein we see whenever we are working on the RPA developer using Power Automate is what something you must be good with. So this is what something when if you want to apply for an opportunity as a develop as a certification, or else if you want to have some live training kind of experience, right? This is what something this is what something which is useful for you for any one of the people who are applying for. So this is all about this. If you have any questions, if you have any queries, please reach out to the contact details which will be posted in below to this video. Thank you.